Hello, welcome to the print. I am Amana Begum Ansari. So, American President Donald Trump, never one to shy away from outlandish proposal, has now floated the idea of US-led takeover of Gaza, one that involved removing Palestinians from their own homeland and shipping them away of elsewhere, basically their neighboring country. The idea isn't new. The last year, Trump's son-in-law and former aide casually described Gaza as a valuable waterfront property, as if it were a prime real estate opportunity rather than the shattered home of millions. Now, after 16 months of Israeli bombardment that has killed over 47,000 people and left Gaza in ruins, Trump is taking that logic a step further. His vague promise of turning Gaza into Riviera of Middle East is for many nothing more than a plan for ethnic cleansing. According to Trump, Gaza is a hell, questioning why anyone would want to live there. But his claim that Gazans do not wish to return falls apart in the face of reality. In the aftermath of the ceasefire, thousands of displaced Palestinians have made their way back to North Gaza, despite their homes being reduced to rubble. It's a no brainer that this is not about comfort but belonging for the people of Palestine. No amount of devastation can erase that deep rooted connection to their land. Most people do not willingly leave their home unless they have no other choices. Personally, I haven't had many direct interaction with displaced communities, but from the Kashmiri Pandit I have interacted with, one thing was very clear to me that decades later they still carry the pain of losing their homeland, of only being able to return as a visitor. Displacement isn't just about losing a house, it's about losing history, roots, and a sense of belonging. The idea that Gazans would simply abandon their land as if it were an inconvenient burden ignore this fundamental human truth. Um, while Trump's statement has drawn global outrage, including a warning from UN chief against ethnic cleansing, what seems to have truly hit a roadblock is the much hyped Saudi Israel normalization. The Saudi foreign minister swiftly reaffirmed an unwavering stance on Palestinian statehood, calling it non negotiable and uncompromising. For months, Washington has pushed historic Saudi-Israel deal, hoping to reshape the negotiation between alliance. But Trump's vision of depopulation Gaza has reinforced kind of kingdoms red line, making any breakthrough even more unlikely now. So it seems that Hamas has, to some degree, achieved one of its strategic objective, keeping the confrontation with Israel alive and preventing normalization effort. Trump's new approach also comes across as purely transactional when he called the US taking over Gaza a long-term ownership position. It sounded less like foreign policy and more like as a businessman looking out for his own interest. And frankly, that language will play well with some of his support base, those who see the world primarily from the point of view of American self interest. And however, chances are that in keeping with his self image as a sure deal maker, Trump was simply laying out an extreme position as a bargaining ploy. His approach often involves pushing the most of outrageous proposal, one that Palestinian and much of the world will reject outright, to make any alternative seems reasonable by comparison. It's a strategy he has used before, create fear of losing everything so the other side feels pressured to accept whatever is offered. This aligned perfectly with his image of strength, portraying himself as a leader who forces opponent to the table on his own term rather than negotiating from a position of compromise. To his MAGA base, this isn't just policy, it's a demonstration of power, proof that Trump doesn't negotiate but dominates. In the end, Trump's proposal seems to go against what most Americans actually want. After years of disastrous war in Iraq and Afghanistan, public opinion is firmly against getting tangled up in another foreign conflict. Trump himself has spent his campaign rallying against forever wars, promoting to keep the US out of costly military entanglements. Some of his supporters might cheer the thought tough guy dealmaker rhetoric, but the bigger question here is whether the broader American public is actually ready to back another Middle Eastern project, especially one as reckless as Trump's proposal for Gaza. For more such a video, keep watching The Print.